well as anybody has on the international stage, and so she probably doesn't love the Americans.
She probably appreciates July 4th as going up against the Americans all the time. Sure, she didn't hate all of her opponents.
She lives in the States now.
I know.
Right? Covering the Islanders. And
sure, there were some she didn't like, but she didn't hate everyone.
Let's get to the Gabriel Pizza hotline. Bring her in because she's actually coming to Ottawa. Coming up around the corner, it's Jennifer Botterill, a multi-gold medal winner with Canada's national women's hockey team. Jen, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing really well, thanks.
Hey, always great to catch up with you. And we've been kind of teasing this throughout the course of the day that you're coming to town, and it's later this month. It's an event called Little Girl Leaders. And why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Sure. It's an initiative where we are, focused to help young athletes, young female athletes. And I feel like we know how much potential young athletes have. And, some of the main areas of focus that we try to connect with for the day of during the event are the ideas of communication, self-awareness, and confidence. And we just, it's a really interactive day where we try to make it very fun and engaging for these young athletes and really inspire them, and that we believe that maybe they're little girls now, but they really can be the future leaders down the road. So, we're really thrilled about the event and looking forward to being in Ottawa. And for me, it's my birthplace where I was born, so it's always nice to be back in Ottawa.
You target the range of girls 11 to 14. Just maybe tell us why that range is so important, and to have you there. And you probably don't think of yourself like this until other people, see and talk to you. But to have you there, I mean, there must be people and girls there that think, like, oh my God, Jennifer Botterill's here. And do you get that a lot?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like it's a huge honor. I think for all Olympic athletes in Canada, and I certainly know from hockey players that we all take a lot of pride in that, and knowing that at this age group, for these, young teenagers from 11 to 14, that it's a very, influential time for them. And when they're making decisions about their future and, things that they make, choices they make now can have an impact on, their future down the road. And certainly we take a lot of pride in if there's some way that we can help or inspire or impact people in a positive way. I know that all of us on the hockey team, take a lot of pride in that we feel fortunate that we've been well supported, in our country, and that, young girls in the sport now, if there are these turning points where we can encourage them, and build more self-awareness, create more, self-belief and confidence for them, teach them to communicate even better, with people around them. We think those are pretty exciting tools for them. And, I remember looking up to female athletes when I was young in that age group. And hopefully this is an event where we can interact and encourage them to have those goals to strive towards, and know that, we were just in the same shoes or the same skates that they're in now. And like I said, hopefully inspire them to pursue their exciting potential.
Jennifer Botterill, our guest here on The Drive on TSN 1200. And as you look at that age range of 11 to 14, it's really important to get the girls at that point, too, because isn't that, Jen, the time when a lot of girls give up on sports?
Exactly. So a lot of them at that point, you have to make decisions on how you're spending your time. And it is, the stats and the studies that have been done are unfortunately not very positive in terms of girls that continue to stay in sport. And so certainly this is, again, one example where we're trying to create a fun event where, I remember when I started playing hockey, like I was a ringette girl and switched to hockey at the age of 13, and I know when I started playing, my parents said they knew it was special because every time I hit the ice, they could see my smile through the cage, that I loved it. And I think for us, obviously, there are a tremendous amount of lessons that you can learn in sport and apply to your life later on. But a huge part of it for this age group is, making it enjoyable and making it fun for them, along with teaching them some valuable lessons. So, there's also studies you talk about, trying to keep girls in sport at that age group, but also of, Fortune 500 female executives. I think it's over 90% of any female executives in the Fortune 500 were all involved in sport. right, when they were young, in terms of providing them the tools for a powerful and strong career down the road.
Yeah, that's a pretty incredible stat. We had a really interesting discussion yesterday on athletes and role models. And I think sometimes when we look at, professional sports, that we don't always have the best role models to look to, the people that are put in the limelight, but Olympic athletes seem to be different. And I was just wondering how much you knew when you were going through in your career that, okay, you're trying to achieve everything you can, but at the same time knowing that you're probably going to be, looked at by a lot of girls coming up to go, okay, well, I want to be like Jennifer Botterill, and how much that stayed with you and some of the other girls. Like, how personal did you take that?
I think all of us took it really personally, and that's why I think, I'm so excited to be involved with this initiative. If we can encourage little girl leaders and, to be involved in an event like this, and, the one in Ottawa is coming up July 15th, and I think that's something where if you look at, every teammate that I had the chance to play with on Team Canada, I think felt the same way, as they were giving back in different ways to their local communities. I think all of us remember very vividly what it was like to either watch the Olympics on television or, see an event live, and, how much these athletes inspired us on our different paths that we took. So I do think it's something where, certainly from my experience with Hockey Canada and playing female hockey in this country, it's something where we all feel very grateful, right? We have lots of moments of appreciation for our experiences in sport and what it's taught us. And I think that's something that we want to try to carry forward, right? And encourage and inspire and teach younger athletes in the sport as well.
As you mentioned, July 15th, so 11 days away, this event is at the Nepean Sportsplex. So it's Saturday, July 15th. It's from noon till 6. You can go to littlegirlleaders.com. There's information there to buy tickets. So just as, I guess, a final sales push here for anyone who's listening to us right now, Jen, maybe they've got a parent, or they're a parent and they have a child who's 11 to 14 who's a girl in sports. What do you specifically think they're going to get out of it at the end at 6 o'clock when they come to pick up their daughter?
Yeah, well, I think they'll have a really fun day and an inspiring day. And like I said, I think there are, so many things we're going to discuss. And I'll certainly have the Olympic medals there, too, that I think is usually fun for the kids and the young athletes. But really, if you think about communication and confidence, and even self-awareness in sport and the importance in young girls' lives, those are three things that we're going to target, encourage, and discuss. And I think they'll leave feeling really educated, but I also feel like they'll leave with a smile on their face to say, that was a really special day. And, I remember a couple of very clear moments, in my life. One when I was in grade 8, and one when I was in grade 9, and they were, two specific moments. One was meeting an Olympic athlete, and the other one was a conversation with my parents. And those two moments, I think, really shifted my perspective and my outlook and goals that I set for myself. And I think for us going into this event, at the Nepean Sportsplex, for us, we want to encourage these young athletes, and, maybe it can be a turning point for them to set, the standard for themselves just a bit higher than they initially think possible. But we hope they'll leave feeling inspired and hopefully with a huge smile on their face as well.
Two quick questions for you. First of all,
yes.
Who was the athlete?
The athlete that I met was actually Mark Tewksbury. He was a swimmer, and I was at a soccer tournament in grade 8, and he was a speaker. But I remember the gym so clearly. Like, I can remember it to this day so vividly. And for me, it was the first Olympic athlete I had seen speak, and remember it clearly. And the conversation with my dad, the advice I got that day was over lunch, and he asked me my goal and about going to the Olympics, and I said, I don't know if it's possible. And he told me that day, he said, well, why not you? And so those are the two moments that really, I think, shifted my outlook.
My other question's not nearly as serious.
Okay.
It's about the medals, and you said
yes.
you're going to bring them. Now, I'm sure you carry them to a lot of different events. I want to know, where you keep them. They're in hotel rooms. You're going through airport security with them. How do you deal with carrying around the medals all the time?
Well, way more fun. It is such a privilege to get to share the medals. And for us, it was it's always about that medal presentation where you look down that line and your teammates were all a part of that, right? And we always felt like Canada was on that line with us, getting those medals presented. And so, where do I keep them? I feel like I keep them for events like this. And if I have a chance to share them with Canadians and certainly young athletes, it's a huge privilege.
Well, I think these girls are really going to look forward to this. And again, it's July 15th at Nepean Sportsplex. Jen Botterill, among others, that will be there helping to mentor young athletes in our community aged 11 to 14. Go to littlegirlleaders.com to book your ticket. Jen Botterill, thanks so much for taking the time to join us, and best of luck with your event coming up here in Ottawa in a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
There she goes on the Gabriel Pizza hotline. The bigger, better taste of Gabriel Pizza is available to you online at
GabrielPizza.com. She dodged my question.
She did. Well, she can't tell you the secrets.
I just want to know how she gets into airport security.
When she tells you that, then you're gonna see her at the airport. You'll be like, I know where she keeps them, and who knows? She doesn't want to let out. It's like the Cadbury secret. The one thing I'll give her credit, because she talks about had a conversation with my dad, and my dad helped. What people may not know about Jen Botterill's dad, and obviously Jason, her brother, is general manager in the National Hockey League and played in the NHL. Their dad, Cal, is kind of always thought of as the preeminent sports psychologist in Canada. And kind of, going back into the 70s, he broke ground on a lot of stuff. And so I'm sure for him, as a sports psychologist, to have two kids who reached, the pinnacle, Jen winning multiple gold medals, son, playing in the NHL, and then now being a general manager, must be so satisfying for him. He's such a nice man. Cal Botterill is such a nice man. And they're just a terrific family. And this sounds great. So if you've got a daughter between the ages of 11 and 14, they play soccer, hockey, ringette, basketball, whatever it is, you're going to get something out of this. You really are.
Yeah.
And I think you got a little bit of a window there. She's just a dynamic speaker.
Well, she sounds like it, right? Like the energy just coming through the phone and her energy to want to be able to do things like this. It's great.
Yeah.
And you're right. A lot of it's about skill, how people get to different places, but a lot of it is about belief and resiliency and confidence and all of those things, right? That you have to have all of those things along with your skill to make it to those great positions, to the pinnacle. That's what you have to have, and that's what I'm sure she's going to teach a little bit and speak to on July the 15th.
Yeah. All right, we got 1 hour of the drive coming up. Callum.